Chosen one. Stop right here. This is not coincidence. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you so you can hear this moment clearly. Time itself feels different, doesn't it? Almost as though something beyond you is leaning close, pulling your soul into stillness. The air around you is heavier, yet charged with something you can't explain. You are being noticed by the Eternal One. You have walked through storms that would have drowned others. You have survived nights that felt endless. Nights when your own prayers sounded like whispers bouncing off locked heavens. Yet here you stand, breathing, sensing, trembling because heaven itself is paying attention to you. Not the crowd, not the masses. You. Listen carefully. Chosen one. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to disappear into the noise of the world. There is a divine mark on you, a seal on your destiny. And that seal is beginning to burn brighter. That is why you feel the pause. That is why it seems as though everything around you has slowed, waiting for you to acknowledge the hand of God moving over your life. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 23, verse 4, "Even though I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff comfort." Chosen one. You have been walking through your valley. You have been misunderstood, rejected, abandoned by some, even laughed at by others who couldn't see what God placed within you. Yet, here comes the pause, the silence of heaven saying, "You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible." Do you feel it? The strange heaviness on your chest, the trembling in your spirit, the sudden awareness that your life is not like theirs. That is the sign. That is the heavenly interruption that tells you your story is being rewritten by divine hands. You are standing on holy ground, though you may be in an ordinary place. Beloved, chosen one. The world has tried to make you doubt yourself. They told you that your sensitivity was weakness, that your dreams were unrealistic, that your prayers were pointless. But the silence of heaven is answering back right now. They were wrong. You are chosen. You are called. You are marked. The pause is not empty. It is full of divine attention. Heaven is aligning pieces you cannot see. Angels are moving on your behalf. Darkness has been put on notice. This is why the last season felt unbearable. Why battles intensified. Why loneliness wrapped around you like chains. Because the moment of recognition is here, and heaven will not let you miss it. Chosen one. Listen, there is no coincidence that you are hearing this message at this exact second is not random. This is divine intervention. God Himself has slowed your timeline just enough for you to realize you are being summoned into greater glory. Do not turn away. Do not let distractions steal this holy interruption. Heaven is near. The King is near. You are closer than ever before to stepping into the place where destiny and eternity converge. If this is burning in your spirit, don't stay silent. Like, share, and subscribe right now, because messages like this are lifelines for the chosen. And as a prophetic act, comment the number 777 below. Let the heavens and the earth bear witness that you know you are marked, you are chosen. You are stepping into your divine moment. Chosen one. You feel it deep inside, an unexplainable pull. Something within you is tugging at your soul, drawing you higher, and yet you cannot explain it to anyone around you. You wake up with questions burning in your chest. Questions that ordinary people never ask. You look at life and know there is more. You feel the emptiness of shallow conversations, of routines that repeat endlessly, of people chasing things that never satisfy. That pull is the mark of your difference. It is heaven's magnet reaching into your heart, refusing to let you stay where you are. The more you try to silence it, the louder it becomes. The more you try to live normally, the more restless you become. Because you are not made for normal, you are made for holy. You are made for glory. At times, this pull feels confusing. You sense that your life is not your own, but you cannot yet see the full picture. Friends don't understand it. Family may mock it. Some may even call you strange, distant, or hard to reach. Yet, deep down, you know this restlessness is not madness, it is calling. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper, not harm, to give hope, future. Do you see it? Chosen one. The pull is not random. It is not confusion. It is the redirection of God's hand. When you feel unsettled, it is not because you are lost. It is because heaven is shifting your steps. You cannot lean on logic to explain this. You cannot rely on the understanding of people who have never carried the weight of divine fire. This pull will often show up in strange ways. Suddenly, the things that used to thrill you leave you empty. The conversations you once enjoyed now feel shallow. Even the places where you once felt at home begin to feel foreign. You are being removed, step by step, from what no longer serves your destiny. That pull is heaven separating you, even before you understand why. Chosen one. This is why your heart aches for more, why your prayers are deeper than simple requests, why tears flow when you think about God, even when you don't know what words to say. The Spirit inside you is hungering, calling, reaching upward like roots breaking through soil toward the light. Do not resist this pull. To fight it is to fight yourself, for it is woven into your very identity. This is why ignoring it leaves you restless, but surrendering to it brings peace. When you yield to the divine tugging, your heart begins to settle, not because you understand everything, but because you know you are being led by one who sees beyond your sight. There is a moment, chosen one, when you will realize that this pull is not just guidance, it is preparation. It is the Spirit of God teaching you to move when He moves, to stop when He stops, to speak when He commands, and to wait when silence is necessary. You are being trained not to be ordinary, but to be set apart. So when you feel that tug in your soul, when you sense that deep yearning that cannot be quenched by anything earthly, rejoice. It is the unmistakable evidence that heaven has chosen you. You are being drawn, not pushed. You are being pulled, not abandoned. God is calling you closer, step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat, until the day comes when you realize you have been walking toward Him all along. Chosen one. The weight of silence has been pressing on you. You notice it late at night, when the noise of the world fades, and all that remains is a holy stillness you cannot explain. It is not ordinary silence, it is the pause of heaven, the sound of eternity pressing against time. At first, it feels unsettling. The silence almost screams at you. Your thoughts become louder. Your emotions rise to the surface. And everything you tried to bury comes alive again. Old wounds, heathen questions, and unspoken fears rush into the forefront of your mind. You wonder if something is wrong with you. You wonder why you feel this depth when others can move through life untouched. But chosen one, this silence is not punishment, it is preparation. The Lord uses silence to strip away distractions. He allows the clamor of voices to fall silent so that His whisper can be heard. In the stillness, you realize that much of what you called life was only noise. You were filling your days with busyness to drown out the ache of your soul. Yet God is too merciful to let you keep living blind. He interrupts the soundtrack of the world so your ears can tune to heaven's melody. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, the first epistle, chapter 2, verse 9, "What no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love Him." Do you understand? Chosen one, the silence is where unseen preparation happens. What eyes cannot yet see, what ears cannot yet hear, is being woven in the silence. God is not ignoring you, He is building you. When everything grows quiet, it is often because heaven is at work in ways too deep for noise to reveal. In this silence, you learn patience. You learn to wait without demanding answers. You learn to trust without clear signs. It feels like emptiness, but it is actually fullness in disguise. The Spirit is stretching you, training you to hear with more than ears and to see with more than eyes. And it is in this very silence that your spirit begins to tremble, not from fear, but from awareness. You realize you are standing on sacred ground. Though your feet are in ordinary places, the silence exposes you. It lays bare your thoughts, your motives, your fears. Yet, in the same breath, it covers you with peace that cannot be explained. Chosen one, the valley of silence is one of the hardest tests. Many give up here, mistaking God's quiet for God's absence. But those who endure the stillness discover a secret. The silence is not empty, it is filled with His presence. When all else is quiet, His nearness becomes undeniable. Now, let this sink in. When you comment the words, "I hear you" below, you are not just typing. You are declaring that you recognize the silence for what it truly is, a holy signal that God is near. You are affirming that you will not run from the quiet, but embrace it as the chamber where heaven reshapes you. Do not take this lightly. Those 3 words carry power, for they mark the moment you agree with the silence instead of resisting it. So tonight, when the noise fades and the silence grows heavy, don't fear it. Don't numb it. Sit in it. Let the Spirit breathe through it, because this is what it feels like right before you meet God face to face. The silence deepens, the heart trembles, and heaven waits for your answer. Chosen one, your spirit trembles. You have felt it, the strange mixture of weakness and fire that runs through your entire being when the presence of God brushes against your soul. Your hands may shake, your knees feel weak, even your breath may catch. But inside, your heart burns with an intensity you cannot contain. This is not fear as the world knows it. This is holy trembling, the awareness that eternity is drawing near. When the body grows weak, the spirit often grows strong. You may wonder why you feel so fragile in moments like this. Why the simplest tasks suddenly feel heavy, or why your emotions seem to overflow without warning. Chosen one. It is because you are carrying the weight of glory. Flesh cannot bear the fullness of the Spirit without trembling, for the fire of heaven is not meant to be contained in fragile vessels without effect. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 16 declare, "The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children." This trembling is not random, it is confirmation. Your spirit is bearing witness that you are marked. It is heaven's way of saying, "You belong. You are mine. You are chosen." What others see as weakness is actually strength being transferred into you. Your trembling is evidence that you are standing in the flow of something greater than yourself. At times, you may feel almost undone by this fire. Tears come without warning. Your voice shakes when you pray. You find yourself overwhelmed with love for God in moments you cannot explain. These are signs that your inner being is awakening, that your spiritual senses are alive. When the Spirit testifies with your spirit, the body cannot remain unaffected. It trembles because heaven is too real to ignore. Do not despise the trembling. Chosen one. The prophets trembled when they heard the voice of God. The apostles trembled when they saw His glory revealed. Even mountains tremble at His presence. Why would your flesh not react when the same eternal power touches you? Your trembling is holy. It is a sign you are closer than you think. Sometimes this trembling comes during prayer, when words flow from you that feel too deep to be yours. Other times it arrives in the quiet, when you are doing nothing extraordinary, yet suddenly you feel the nearness of God so strongly it overwhelms you. You may even feel it in moments of worship, when a song becomes more than melody and turns into encounter. Chosen one. The trembling is also warfare. Darkness feels your fire and cannot remain comfortable around you. The enemy shudders because he knows your spirit has been awakened to who you are. Every time you tremble under God's hand, the kingdom of darkness is reminded that you cannot be owned, silenced, or destroyed. Do not mistake this for weakness. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. The Spirit of God is enlarging you, stretching your inner being to carry more of His presence. Just as a wineskin must expand to hold new wine, so must you be stretched to hold the glory being poured into you. Chosen one. The trembling is your proof. You are not like the rest. You are not abandoned in silence. You are being filled, shaped, and prepared for what comes next. Every quiver, every tear, every shaking breath is a testimony that heaven is near and God's hand is resting heavily upon you. Do not run from this holy fire. Yield to it. Let it burn through fear, pride, and doubt. Because this trembling is not the end, it is the doorway. It is what it feels like when you are standing at the threshold, moments away from encountering God in ways that will change you forever. Chosen one. Visions and whispers have been following you. You notice them in dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, in flashes of images that appear when you close your eyes, and in the quiet thoughts that seem to echo louder than your own voice. You are not imagining it. These are not coincidences. They are divine messages being planted in the soil of your spirit. The voice of God does not always thunder in the way we expect. Often, it comes as a whisper, subtle but undeniable, shaping your path without force. Sometimes it comes as a vision in the night, stirring you awake with images you can't shake. Other times it comes through signs, small details that align too perfectly to be random. These whispers and visions are heaven's way of guiding you toward the very destiny you were created for, as the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk. Chapter 2, Verse 2, Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. And, chosen one, when you receive a vision, it is not just for you, it is also for the mission you are called to carry. That's why God presses images into your heart, showing you glimpses of the future, flashes of who you are becoming, or warnings about what lies ahead. These visions are instructions in disguise, and when you honor them, they will unfold step by step. Whispers, too, are not to be ignored. You know that moment when your spirit nudges you not to go somewhere, not to speak something, or to pause before deciding. That is the Spirit of God whispering. It is not paranoia. It is not random thought. It is heaven protecting you, guiding you, training you. To dismiss those whispers is to dismiss the very hand of God moving in your life. Sometimes, these whispers seem so soft that others would overlook them. But you, chosen one, cannot. You feel them deeply. That is why you have avoided traps others fell into. That is why you escaped dangers you did not even see coming. Heaven whispered, and you responded even when you did not fully understand. The enemy wants you to believe you are imagining it, that the dreams are nonsense, that the whispers are just your own mind. But he lies because he fears the truth. For every whisper is a seed of direction, and every vision is a glimpse of glory waiting to be born in your life. Do not be careless with these encounters. Write them down. Hold them in prayer. Guard them as treasures. Because one day, you will look back and realize that the visions you received in the night and the whispers you heard in the quiet were the very road signs leading you to the place God destined for you. Chosen one, these moments are precious. They are lifelines from heaven. And because they are precious, I want you to treat this message the same way. If what you are hearing speaks directly into your spirit, don't just keep it to yourself. Take a moment to like this message. It shows that you honor the word that has been poured into you. Share it with someone else, because you never know who might be desperate for the very whisper you just received. And subscribe so you can remain connected, so you never miss the next vision or word heaven releases for the chosen ones. This isn't about numbers or vanity. It is about obedience. It is about keeping the flame alive, staying close to the stream that continually refreshes your soul. For every whisper matters, and every vision matters, just as you matter deeply to God. Chosen one, listen. Your visions are not accidents. Your whispers are not delusions. They are divine fingerprints, marking you for glory. Cherish them, protect them, and let them carry you closer and closer to the moment when your eyes will see the one who has been whispering all along. Chosen one, you have felt it, the breaking point, that moment when the weight becomes too heavy, when the pressure feels unbearable, when you wonder if you can take even one more step. It is the place where the old you shatters, where everything you thought you knew falls apart, and where heaven begins to rebuild you into something unrecognizable. Do not mistake this breaking for destruction. It is not the end. It is the divine moment where God tears down the fragile walls you built to protect yourself, so that He can establish a foundation that cannot be shaken. You thought you were losing everything, but in truth, you were shedding everything that was never meant to stay. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. End of Chosen one. Hear this. Your breaking is your making. The very tears you thought were proof of weakness are watering the soil of your new beginning. Every crack in your heart is an opening for God's light to pour in. The very collapse you feared is the stage where His strength is displayed. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like pieces of you are being torn away. But those pieces are not your essence. They are the masks, the chains, the illusions that were never part of your true design. God loves you too much to let you carry the weight of what was crushing your spirit. That is why He allows the breaking point, because only there do you finally let go. Finally, surrender. Finally, stop clinging to what was never meant to save you. The breaking point is the moment of truth. You can no longer pretend to be strong in your own strength. You can no longer carry the burden alone. And it is right there, in the ashes of what fell apart, that you discover the presence that has never left you. Chosen one. This is where the shift happens. This is where you stop relying on what people promised and start trusting the one who never lies. This is where your self-made plans crumble so that heaven's design can finally take root. The breaking point is not a curse, it is the birthplace of destiny. So when you feel like you cannot go further, remember, you are not being destroyed. You are being reborn. You are not being abandoned. You are being held closer than ever before. The breaking point is the threshold of transformation. And right here, right now, as an act of faith, I want you to type the number 444 inches, the comments. Why 444? Because it is a prophetic symbol of alignment of God bringing order out of your chaos, of heaven establishing stability where everything seemed unstable. When you write it, you are not just pressing keys. You are declaring that even in your breaking, you trust the builder. You are confessing that your collapse is not the end, but the very beginning of the divine rebuilding of your life. Chosen one. Your breaking does not define your end. It defines your rebirth. Let the old fall away. Let the false identities be stripped. Let the weight you were never meant to carry be lifted. Because when the breaking is complete, you will rise not in your own strength, but in His. Chosen one. Isolation comes before revelation. You have felt it, the sting of being set apart, the ache of being misunderstood, the loneliness of walking a road that others cannot see. It is not rejection for the sake of rejection. It is heaven's way of separating you from noise, so you can hear clearly what others cannot. You wondered why people walked away, why circles grew smaller, why doors you thought would stay open suddenly closed. At first, you blamed yourself. You thought maybe you weren't enough. Maybe you failed. Maybe you weren't worthy of love or companionship. But chosen one, this is not punishment. It is preparation. Isolation is the sacred chamber where God begins to whisper secrets of destiny. The prophet Elijah knew this when he was hidden by the brook of Kerith, fed only by ravens, with no one to comfort him but the presence of God. Isolation stripped him of dependence on people and positioned him to hear the word of the Lord more clearly than ever before. Just as Elijah was separated, so have you been. not because you are unloved, but because you are chosen for a different path. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, remind us, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." No, do you feel the weight of those words? What is done in secret carries eternal value. What happens in your hidden seasons is shaping the future you cannot yet see. The loneliness you feel is not empty, it is the furnace where character is refined, where vision becomes sharp, and where the voice of God grows undeniable. Chosen one. People often misunderstand you in this stage. They label you distant, strange, or disconnected. They think you are wasting time. But what they cannot see is that heaven has pulled you into hiding, into silence, into separation. Because great revelations are too delicate to be born in the crowd. They must be conceived in solitude. Yes, the isolation hurts. The nights feel long. The silence feels heavy. But this is where your spirit is learning to depend fully on God. It is here that you discover that His presence is enough when no one else remains. It is here that you learn the strength of walking alone, yet never truly being alone. Chosen one. Your isolation is not the absence of destiny, it is the birthplace of it. This is where your old self dies, and your new self takes root. This is where God weans you from the applause of people, so you no longer crave validation. This is where He closes the mouths of doubters, so their words no longer hold weight over your spirit. You may feel forgotten in this season, but heaven has not forgotten you. Every tear has been counted. Every sigh has been recorded. Every lonely prayer has reached the throne. Nothing is wasted. The separation is not without purpose. It is carving space in you for the revelation that is about to come. So, endure the isolation. Chosen one. Embrace it, even when it cuts deep, because the same God who pulled you into solitude will soon reveal Himself in ways that will make sense of every lonely night. Isolation is not the end, it is the prelude. The silence, the distance, the emptiness are only the soil in which revelation is planted, and when the time is right, what was hidden will burst forth with power. Undeniable and unshakable. Chosen one. Fear once ruled over you. It crept into your thoughts in the quiet, whispered doubts into your prayers, and chained your steps so you could not move forward. Fear convinced you that you were too small, too broken, too unworthy to carry the light you felt burning inside. But something is shifting. What once terrified you is now becoming your fire. This is the paradox of the chosen. Fear does not disappear, but it is transformed. Instead of paralyzing you, it becomes the very fuel that pushes you into purpose. Every time you face what you once avoided, courage grows. Every time you refuse to bow to intimidation, strength rises. What was meant to destroy you becomes the fire that drives you forward. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind." Now, do you see? Chosen one, fear was never your inheritance. It was an intruder, a shadow trying to silence the voice of destiny. But God placed within you something stronger: power to stand, love to endure, and clarity to see beyond lies. When you awaken to that truth, fear loses its grip, and fire takes its place. This fire is not ordinary passion. It is the flame of heaven that burns through excuses, limitations, and chains. It is the same fire that carried Moses to confront Pharaoh, though he once trembled with excuses. It is the fire that steadied Esther as she stepped into the king's chamber, risking her life for her people. It is the fire that burned in the hearts of the apostles as they stood unshaken before persecution. That same fire is burning in you. At first, it may feel small, just a flicker in the darkness. But with each act of obedience, with each moment of faith, it grows. Soon the flicker becomes a blaze, and what once frightened you begins to flee from you. The same battles that once overwhelmed you now look small against the flame that cannot be quenched. Chosen one, do not despise your fear, for it has been the training ground of your fire. The nights you wrestled with dread, the days you felt unworthy, the moments you wanted to run, all of it was preparation. Fear tried to bury you, but instead it taught you to lean harder on God. And leaning on Him birthed courage you did not know you had. You are becoming dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Your very presence unsettles the enemy, because he remembers when you used to bow to fear. Now, instead of bowing, you burn, and every time you burn, the shadows lose ground. So walk boldly. Even if your knees still tremble, speak truth. Even if your voice still shakes, move forward. Even if the path feels uncertain, for the fire inside you is not of your own making, it is heaven's flame, placed in you for such a time as this. Chosen one, fear has served its last purpose in your life. It has been transformed. It has been swallowed by the fire. What once terrified you now fuels you. And as this fire grows, nothing, no shadow, no voice, no enemy can stand against you. You were born to burn, and your flame will not be put out. Chosen one, something has shifted. You are beginning to recognize the light within you. For so long, you questioned yourself. You wondered why you never quite fit in, why people seemed unsettled by your presence, why opportunities opened and closed in ways you could not explain. It was not rejection, it was recognition. Darkness saw your light before you did, and it trembled. This light is not something you earned. It is not a product of effort or performance. It is the mark of heaven, placed in you before you were born. That is why your life has never followed the patterns of those around you. You have been carrying a glow that exposes shadows, a flame that refuses to be hidden. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." Do you understand what this means? Chosen one, the very presence of light is victory. Light does not wrestle with darkness, it simply shines, and darkness flees. That is what your life represents. You do not have to fight to prove your worth. You only have to stand, to shine, to remain in the identity God gave you. That alone disrupts the plans of the enemy. Yet recognition of your light is not always celebrated. Some people avoid you because your glow reveals what they would rather keep hidden. Some misunderstand you because they cannot explain the peace, wisdom, or resilience you carry. Others envy you because they sense the favor of God upon your life. But chosen one, do not dim yourself to make others comfortable. Your light is not a mistake. It is a weapon. There have been moments when you felt guilty for shining, times when you silenced yourself to keep the peace, or lowered your standards to keep company. But the spirit inside you keeps pushing back, whispering, "Rise higher. Stay true. Do not hide what I have placed within you." For every time you silence your light, the world grows darker. But every time you allow it to shine, someone else finds the courage to step out of their own shadows. Chosen one. Your light terrifies the darkness, not because of who you are in the flesh, but because of who you are in the spirit. The enemy sees not just you, but the one who dwells within you, and he knows he cannot extinguish that flame. That is why battles have been fierce. That is why opposition has been relentless, because your very existence is proof that heaven still moves in the earth. Do not underestimate the power of recognition. When you finally accept that the light inside you is real, everything changes. You stop apologizing for being different. You stop questioning your worth. You stop fearing rejection. Instead, you begin to live boldly, knowing that your light is needed in places where others have given up hope. Chosen one, hear me. This is the season to embrace the glow. Not timidly, not halfway, fully. Stand in it. Walk in it. Let it pour out of you in every word, every step, every glance. Because the world is desperate for what you carry, and no darkness, no voice, no enemy can put it out. Now pause and declare it with your own hand. Type the words, "I carry light," in the comments below. Do you know why this matters? Because when you write it, you are not just agreeing with me, you are agreeing with heaven. You are stamping your identity in public, refusing to shrink back. It is a prophetic act, a moment of saying, "I know who I am. I will not hide anymore." And every declaration strengthens your flame, echoing into realms you cannot see. Chosen one, the light is real. The light is rising. The light is you. Chosen one. You are standing at the edge of surrender. You feel it deep inside, that tension between holding on and letting go, between clinging to control and opening your hands to God. This is not a small moment. It is the threshold, the dividing line between living in your own strength and stepping fully into the flow of heaven's will. The struggle is real. Part of you wants to trust, yet another part fears what surrender will cost. You ask, what if I lose everything? What if I step out and fail? What if obedience demands more than I can give? These questions echo loudly. But, chosen one, they cannot silence the truth. Surrender is where freedom begins. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 25, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses life for me will find it." Do you see the mystery hidden here? What you cling to tightly will slip away, but what you place in God's hands becomes eternal. The moment you let go of control, you discover that you were never in control anyway. The surrender you fear is the doorway into a life far greater than the one you are trying to preserve. Chosen one, think back on your journey. Every time you resisted surrender, showers multiplied. Every time you yielded, peace returned. That is not coincidence, that is proof. God has been showing you again and again that His way is higher, His timing better, His plan unshakable. The sooner you stop wrestling, the sooner you will see His glory unfold in your story. Surrender does not mean weakness. It does not mean giving up. It means trading your small strength for His unlimited power. It means stepping off the throne you were never meant to sit on and letting the true King rule in your life. It is not loss, it is exchange. Your fear for His peace, your striving for His rest, your plans for His destiny. Chosen one, the edge of surrender is holy ground. This is why everything feels intense right now. Heaven is pressing in, urging you to release what you were never meant to carry. That relationship, that fear, that plan, that wound, none of it belongs in your hands anymore. The longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes. But the moment you release it, you will feel the chains fall away. And this, beloved, is why I urge you with sincerity, if this message speaks to your spirit, don't let it stop here. Take a moment to like this message. It is a simple act, but it declares agreement with what heaven is speaking. Share it with someone you love, because they too may be wrestling at the edge of surrender and need to hear this truth. And if you haven't already, subscribe, so that you remain connected to these words that keep your fire burning and your spirit awake. This is not about numbers, it is about obedience. It is about saying, "Yes, Lord, I will not only hear, but I will act." Each act of obedience, no matter how small, prepares your heart for the greater surrender God is asking of you. Chosen one, take courage. The edge is not a cliff, it is a bridge. When you step off in surrender, you are not falling into nothingness. You are falling into the arms of the one who has carried you all along. And in that surrender, you will find the life you were always meant to live. Chosen one, you are no stranger to shadows. You have felt their presence pressing against your spirit. Whispering lees, surrounding you with heaviness when breakthrough seemed near. This is the nature of spiritual battle. The closer you move toward light, the harder the shadows fight to keep their grip. It is not a sign that you are losing, it is proof that you are advancing. The wrestling is real. It is not only in the world around you, but also within you. Old habits try to rise again. Old wounds try to reopen. Old fears resurface as if they were never gone. You wonder, why am I fighting the same battles? Why does it feel like every step forward invites another push backward? Chosen one, understand this. Shadows are loudest when their time is shortest. The Apostle Paul writes in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." 1. Do you see? The fight is not with people, not with circumstances, not even with yourself. The battle is spiritual. You are wrestling not because you are weak, but because heaven's mark upon you has drawn attention. You have become a target because you are a threat. The enemy fears your awakening more than he fears anything else. Yet even in this wrestling, you are never alone. Every shadow that presses against you must bow before the name of Jesus. Every lie must crumble before truth. Every attack is limited by the hand of God, who will never allow more than you can bear. You may feel surrounded, but you are also shielded. You may feel pressed, but you are never crushed. Chosen one, do not despise the wrestling. It is strengthening you. It is sharpening your discernment. teaching you to distinguish between the whispers of heaven and the deceit of darkness. Every time you resist temptation, your spirit grows stronger. Every time you choose faith over fear, you push back the shadows. This is not wasted pain. It is training for the destiny you are about to carry. Think of Jacob, who wrestled through the night until dawn. He did not walk away. Unmarked, his hip was touched, and he limped from that day forward. Yet that limp was not shame. It was evidence of encounter. From that night on, he was no longer Jacob the deceiver, but Israel, the one who wrestled with God and prevailed. In the same way, your wrestling will leave marks on you. But those marks are not scars of defeat. They are proofs of your identity as one who has fought and overcome. Shadows may rage, but they cannot extinguish the light inside you. They may surround you, but they cannot define you. They may delay you, but they cannot deny you. Every dark night has an ending, and dawn always breaks. The intensity of the wrestling is the announcement that sunrise is near. So, chosen one, take heart. Do not be discouraged by the weight of this fight. It is shaping you into a warrior who knows how to stand unshaken. The very shadows that try to intimidate you will one day testify that you were never overcome, for the light inside you is greater than the darkness around you. And the one who walks with you has never lost a battle. You may be wrestling now, but you are wrestling on the edge of breakthrough. And when the dawn comes, you will see that every shadow you faced was only a backdrop for the brilliance of the glory that is about to be revealed in you. Chosen one, have you felt it rising inside you, a hunger that nothing on this earth can satisfy? Food cannot silence it. Entertainment cannot distract it. Even success leaves it empty. This hunger is not ordinary. It is holy. It is the ache of your spirit crying out for more of God. You notice it in the quiet hours when the world is asleep, and yet your heart is restless. You feel it when you open the scriptures and suddenly words leap off the page as if they were written only for you. You sense it when you pray, and minutes turn into hours. Yet it feels like only a breath has passed. This hunger is the sign that you are being drawn closer to the eternal. It is written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Into chosen one, pay attention to this promise. Your hunger is not punishment, it is an invitation. It is the evidence that heaven has already prepared a feast for you. When the Spirit stirs up this craving, it means more is within reach. God does not awaken hunger to leave you empty. He awakens it to fill you with Himself. This hunger will often make you different. Others may wonder why you spend hours in prayer or why you prefer solitude with God over crowds of people. They may not understand why you can no longer laugh at what once amused you, or why your heart breaks over things they easily ignore. That is because you are being rewired for eternity. Your appetite is changing. What once satisfied you now feels hollow, because your spirit knows it was made for more. At times, this hunger feels almost unbearable. You may even cry out, "Lord, why do I feel so empty?" But the emptiness is not absence, it is expansion. Your heart is being stretched to carry more of Him. Your spirit is being enlarged so that the rivers of living water promised by Jesus can flow freely through you. Chosen one, this hunger is dangerous to the enemy. He cannot control a heart that longs only for God. He cannot manipulate a soul that refuses to be satisfied with temporary things. This is why distractions rise against you. This is why busyness, temptations, and false comforts try to crowd your spirit. Because if the enemy can numb your hunger, he can slow your growth. But if your hunger remains alive, nothing can stop you from rising into the fullness of your calling. Guard this hunger. Feed it with prayer. Nurture it with the word. Protect it from the poisons of compromise. And when you feel it ache, don't run from it, press deeper. For every pang of longing is a signal that you are closer to an encounter than you realize. And now, chosen one, let this moment be marked. As a prophetic act, comment the number 888 below. Why 888? Because it represents new beginnings, overflowing abundance, and eternal life. When you type it, you are not just leaving a number, you are declaring that your hunger will not be wasted, that you are ready for the new outpouring heaven is releasing into your life. This is what it feels like right before you meet God. The hunger becomes all-consuming, and nothing else will satisfy until His presence fills you completely. Hold on to it. Protect it. For this hunger is proof that your encounter is near. Chosen one, you have carried pain deeper than words can express. Wounds from betrayal, rejection, loss, and battles that no one else saw. Scars hidden beneath your smile. Tears shed in silence when the world thought you were strong. For a long time, you asked, "Why me? Lord, why do I have to suffer this way?" What you did not see is that your crown was being forged in the furnace of pain. The crown of pain is not ornamental, it is transformational. Every wound has been shaping you. Every heartbreak has carved depth into your spirit. Every disappointment has sharpened your discernment. Pain was never meant to destroy you. It was the tool heaven used to refine you into someone who could carry weight that others could not bear. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 7. "I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering." Chosen one, God has seen every cry. Not one tear has been wasted. Not one moment of suffering has been overlooked. In the silence, He was gathering your tears like precious oil. In the breaking, He was molding your character. In the loneliness, He was teaching you to lean on Him alone. What others called weakness has become your greatest strength. Because of your pain, you can feel the hurt of others more deeply. You can discern brokenness that others overlook. You carry compassion where others carry indifference. This is why people feel safe around you without even knowing why, because they sense that you understand, that you have walked through fire and survived. Your pain has become a gateway to purpose. The very areas where you were wounded are the areas where God is releasing healing through you. What once broke you is now the weapon you carry against darkness. Where you were rejected, you now carry the authority to embrace the rejected. Where you were silenced, you now speak with boldness. Where you were crushed, you now stand unshaken. Chosen one, this crown is not visible to the world, but it is radiant in the spirit. Heaven sees it. Angels recognize it. Even the enemy trembles before it, because he knows that what was meant to destroy you has only elevated you. You are no longer just a survivor, you are a carrier of glory forged through suffering. At times, you may still feel the ache. The scars may still remind you of where you've been. But those scars are not signs of defeat, they are testimonies. Each one declares, I was struck, but not destroyed. I was broken, but not abandoned. I was wounded, but I rose again. Your scars are proof of resurrection life within you. Chosen one, wear your crown of pain with honor. Do not hide it. Do not be ashamed of your past, for your past has become your power. The very trials that tried to crush you have crowned you with authority to walk into places of darkness and shine light with unshakable confidence. This is what it feels like right before you meet God. The weight of pain transforms into the weight of glory. The crown forged in suffering becomes the crown you will lay at His feet, not as a burden, but as an offering of love. Chosen one, there comes a moment when glory begins to reveal itself in you. Not glory of your own making, not recognition built by human hands, but the unmistakable radiance of God's nearness shining through your very being. It is subtle at first, an unusual peace in the midst of chaos, a strength you cannot explain, a wisdom that flows from your lips when others seek answers. Yet, the more you yield, the brighter this glory becomes. The Apostle Paul reminds us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 18, "And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into His image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit." Chosen one. This transformation cannot be hidden. When Moses descended from Mount Sinai after meeting with God, his face shone so brightly that the people were afraid to look at him, though you may not see it with your own eyes. The same reality is unfolding within you. The more you encounter God, the more His likeness is etched upon your spirit, and the more others sense His presence when you enter a room. This is why you no longer belong to darkness. This is why places you used to fit now feel foreign. Glory has marked you. It distinguishes you, sets you apart, and draws you into alignment with heaven's rhythm. People may not understand it. Some will be drawn to you, seeking the peace they feel radiating from you. Others may avoid you, unsettled by the conviction your very presence awakens. But in both cases, it is not about you, it is about the glory of God revealed in you. Chosen one, you may doubt at times. You may look at yourself and think, "How could glory rest on me? I am too flawed, too weak, too broken." But remember, glory was never about perfection. It was about reflection. When you turn your face toward God, His image reflects through you. Your weakness becomes a canvas for His strength. Your cracks become windows for His light. Your emptiness becomes space for His fullness. This glory is not loud. It does not boast. It does not demand attention. It flows quietly, like oil, saturating your words, your actions, your very atmosphere. You may not realize it, but others feel it. They notice the calm you carry, the resilience that sustains you, the love that overflows from your spirit. They see the glow, even if they cannot name it. Chosen one, this glory is also warfare. The enemy despises it because he remembers what he lost when he fell from heaven. Every glimpse of God's radiance shining through you is a reminder of His defeat. That is why battles have intensified. That is why distractions rise. But do not fear, the glory within you cannot be stolen. It cannot be dimmed. It comes from the Spirit Himself, and no darkness can quench it. This is the season where you must walk boldly, not in arrogance, but in awareness. Recognize that you are a vessel carrying divine presence. Treat your steps as sacred. Guard your words as holy. Live as one who knows that heaven flows through them. For when glory is revealed in you, it is not only for your sake, but for the sake of those who encounter you. Chosen one. This is what it feels like before you meet God. You realize His glory is no longer distant, no longer unreachable, but alive within you, shining through you, declaring to the world that you are His. Chosen one. The call to witness is stirring in your soul. You feel it, the undeniable urge to speak, to share, to declare the truth that has been burning inside you. For so long, your voice was silenced by fear, doubt, or rejection. But now the fire is too strong to contain. Heaven is commissioning you to open your mouth and bear witness to what you have seen and felt. This is not a casual invitation. It is a divine assignment. You were not chosen to remain hidden forever. You were chosen to testify, to stand as living proof that God is real, that His presence transforms, that His mercy saves. Your story is not ordinary. It is a weapon, a light, a living testimony that can pierce darkness and awaken hope in others. The apostle declared in the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 8, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes. You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of earth." Chosen one. This is your commission. Not only to survive, not only to shine, but to speak. When you open your mouth, you carry the sound of deliverance. When you share your testimony, chains break for others. When you declare His goodness, demons tremble. Your voice has power because it carries the truth of the one who chose you. Do not underestimate the value of your witness. You may think your story is too small, too broken, too messy, but that is the very reason it carries weight. People are not moved by polished perfection. They are moved by authentic encounters. When you speak from your scars, you give others permission to heal. When you declare from your struggles, you remind others that God's strength is made perfect in weakness. Chosen one. The time for silence is over. You have walked through the fire, not just for yourself, but for every soul your testimony will touch. Your obedience to speak could be the very key someone else has been praying for. And because this moment is sacred, I ask you sincerely, if this word is stirring something deep inside you, don't let it stop here. Like this message, it affirms that you stand with the truth. Share it with those who need hope, because you never know whose life could be changed by your simple act of obedience. Comment your agreement below. It doesn't need to be long. Just a simple declaration that your voice belongs to God, and subscribe, because witnesses must remain equipped, connected, and strengthened for the journey ahead. This is not about building platforms. It is about building altars. Every like, every share, every comment, every subscription is not vanity. It is testimony. It is your way of saying, I will not stay silent. I will not bury the fire. I will speak. I will witness. I will declare the glory of God through my life. Chosen one. You are rising into your true identity. No longer just a survivor. No longer just a dreamer, but a witness, one who carries evidence of heaven on earth. Your voice is needed. Your story is powerful. Your calling is clear. This is what it feels like before you meet God. The fire in your bones demands to be spoken. The light within you insists on shining, and your heart cannot remain silent any longer. The call to witness is not coming, it has arrived. Step into it boldly, for heaven has entrusted you with a testimony the world desperately needs to hear. Chosen one. You are crossing the threshold. This is the moment where everything changes, where the life you once knew is left behind and the life heaven designed for you becomes reality. It feels both terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. You sense that something irreversible is happening, that there is no turning back to what was. And you are right. Once the threshold is crossed, you will never be the same again. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive? I make a way. Chosen one. This is your moment of newness. The wilderness you endured has prepared you, and now streams of living water are beginning to flow where once there was only dryness. What felt like endless waiting is breaking open into movement. The doors that were sealed are opening. The chains that weighed you down are falling. You are stepping into a season you cannot compare to anything before, because it is unlike anything you've ever lived. Crossing the threshold is not only about external change, it is about inner transformation. The fears that once held you captive no longer have power. The doubts that plagued your mind no longer define you. The shame that tried to bury you has lost its voice. You are walking forward lighter, freer, and more aligned with who God always intended you to be. This is why the tension has been so great. You felt pulled apart because heaven was separating the old from the new inside you. It was not punishment, it was preparation. Like a snake shedding its skin or a butterfly breaking from its cocoon, the process felt painful and confining, but it was leading to freedom. And now, the breakthrough has arrived. Chosen one. You may feel unready. You may still think, I don't have enough. I am not enough. But readiness was never the condition. Obedience was. God does not wait until you feel prepared. He calls you when He knows the time is right. The very fact that you are here, sensing this shift, is evidence that heaven has declared it is time. And though you may feel trembling in your spirit, remember this: trembling is not weakness. It is the sign that eternity is pressing close. It is the evidence that you are standing in the presence of something holy, something greater than yourself. Even the prophets trembled when the glory came near. So do not fear your trembling. It is proof that you are crossing into sacred ground. Chosen one. Breathe this truth. You are no longer who you were. You are no longer bound by what bound you. You are no longer chained to the mistakes, the labels, the failures of your past. You are crossing into destiny, into identity, into glory. The threshold is behind you. What lies ahead is a path prepared by God Himself. And every step you take will echo with purpose that cannot be undone. This is what it feels like before you meet God. The old dissolves, the new unfolds, and you realize you have stepped into a life that no shadow, no enemy can steal from you. You are marked forever. You are changed forever. You are His forever. Chosen one. This is the moment everything has been leading toward. Face to face with God. All the pauses, the whispers, the trembling, the hunger, the isolation, the fire. They were all preparation for this encounter. Now you sense it more than ever. The air feels different. Your spirit vibrates with expectancy. Heaven is not distant. Eternity is pressing in close. It was proclaimed in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 3. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God." In 4, chosen one. Imagine this: the creator of all things bending low to meet you, not because you earned it, not because you were flawless, but because you were chosen. Every scar, every battle, every tear brought you to this moment where his presence becomes undeniable. This is not imagination. It is the reality of your destiny. Before his presence, masks fall away. The questions that once tormented you lose their weight. The pain that once defined you dissolves in the warmth of his love. The shadows that once threatened you vanish before his light. Here, there is no striving, nor pretending, nor hiding. You are fully known and fully loved. This meeting is not only a future hope, it is a present reality breaking through. Each time you close your eyes in prayer, each time you yield in worship, each time you open your heart in surrender, you taste a piece of this encounter. And the more you yield, the closer you draw, until the veil between heaven and earth feels thin, almost transparent. Chosen one. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. To meet God face to face is to be transformed forever. You cannot encounter his glory and remain unchanged. You cannot stand in his presence and keep clinging to your old self. Every part of you bends, bows, breaks, and then is remade in the fire of his gaze. Here is where fear dissolves into peace. Here is where questions turn into clarity. Here is where emptiness overflows with fullness. The one who formed you is the one who meets you, not as a stranger, but as a father reclaiming his child. This is what you have been sensing all along: the pause of heaven, the trembling spirit, the hunger that burned, the pain that shaped you, the glory that began to shine within you. All of it was heaven's hand guiding you closer and closer, until now you find yourself standing at the threshold of eternity. Your face lifted, your soul open, your heart ready. Chosen one. Nothing else matters here. Not the opinions of people, not the mistakes of your past, not the fears of your future. All that matters is that you are his and he is yours. This encounter is not the end of your journey, it is the unveiling of your true beginning. For once you have met God face to face, you will never again doubt that you were chosen for this exact moment in history. This is what it feels like, right before you meet God. Time pauses. Eternity breathes. Your spirit trembles. And then his presence floods everything. You are undone, remade, crowned, and embraced. And from this moment forward, you will never again be the same. Chosen one. The journey has been long, but every step was worth it. You have walked through valleys of silence, wrestled with shadows, endured the breaking, and carried the crown of pain. Yet through it all, you were never alone. Every battle was shaping you. Every tear was watering the soil of your destiny. Every whisper was pulling you closer to the moment you were designed for encounter with the living God. This script has been more than words. It has been a mirror. showing you what has been unfolding in your life. You now understand why you felt different, why you were pulled apart, why the hunger inside you refused to die. It was not coincidence. It was calling. You were chosen before the foundations of the earth. And now you stand marked by heaven, forever transformed. Take this truth with you. You are unstoppable because His Spirit is within you. You are unshakable because His hand holds you. You are radiant because His glory shines through you. The struggles behind you are nothing compared to the glory ahead. Your best days are not behind you. They are unfolding right now. Walk forward with courage. Live boldly as His witness, and carry the light you have been entrusted with. The world is waiting for what only you can bring. Chosen one, never forget you are loved beyond measure, called with purpose, and crowned with glory. The God you have met will walk with you into every tomorrow.